we love food, colored green, bell peppers and long string beans, pickles, celery, cucumbers too. All these foods are good for you.
Welcome to Storytime Cooks, where we learn about food through books. Today we're going to be reading If You Give a Moose a Muffin by Laura Numeroff. And this is a fun story, and we're doing this partly because our ice cream muffins are a very special recipe in celebration of July being Ice Cream Month. So we'll teach you how to make those in just a minute. But first, we're going to read our story. If you give a moose a muffin, do you think moose really like muffins? I don't know. He might want some jam to go with it. And I brought some jam. We've got strawberry jam or grape jam. There's all kinds of jam. And jam's usually made with some fruit. So you'll bring out some of your mother's homemade blackberry jam, and that's a really good kind. When he finishes his muffin, he'll want another, and another, and another, and when they're all gone, he'll ask you to make more. He really liked those muffins. You'll have to go to the store and get some muffin mix, and he'll want to go with you. When he opens the door and feels how chilly it is, he'll ask to borrow a sweater. I didn't know that Moose wore sweaters, but he's going to put a sweater on, a red sweater. He pulls the sweater on, but he notices one of the buttons are loose. And I brought a big button, and we're going to talk about what you can do with the button in a minute. He'll start sewing, and the button will remind him of the puppets that his grandmother used to make. So he'll ask for some old socks. What do you think the moose is going to do with some old socks? He'll make sock puppets. That might be something fun you'd like to try. And when they're done, he'll want to put on a puppet show. He'll need some cardboard and some paints. He's going to make some props, and that would be a lot of fun. And he'll ask you to help make some scenery. And they're painting all over the cardboard. Wonder what kind of scenery they're going to make. They're going to try to be neat. They put some newspaper down on the floor so they won't spill anything. And it looks like they might be listening to some music. That always makes work fun if you listen to some music. They've made a beautiful props. It's got all kinds of things on there. When the scenery is finished, he's going to get behind the couch. But you see something. The moose's antlers are sticking out. He'll ask for something to cover them up. You bring him a sheet from your bed. So he's going to put a sheet over the antlers. When he sees this sheet, he remembers he wants to be a ghost for Halloween. So he'll try it on and shout, "Boo!" It'll scare him so much, he knocked over the paint. Oh no. So then he uses the sheet to clean up the mess. Then he'll ask for some soap to wash the paint out of the sheet. He'll probably want to hang the sheet up to dry. They've really had a busy day, haven't they? They've done all kinds of things. So he has to take the sheet outside to put it on the clothesline. And when he's out in the yard, he sees some bushes. Do you remember what kind of muffins he liked? That's right. He sees blackberry bushes. And what do you think those blackberry bushes might have reminded him of? Seeing those blackberry bushes? He probably will want you to make him some more muffins. And chances are, if you give him a muffin, he'll want some more jam. And it shows them eating their jam and muffin, having a really good time. Remember in our story, Moose had to sew the button back on his sweater. Well, I brought a big button today. It's kind of a teal colored button, and this is something that you might could do at home if you had a button. You could play button, button, who's got the button? And there's a couple of different ways you could do that. You could almost do it like an I Spy game. So you could take a button and you could hide it somewhere when people aren't looking. And we have to be, we don't want to be hiding it in a place that you would never ever find it, but someplace that someone might be likely to spy it. And put this in a spot and then see how long it takes somebody to find it. So that would be a fun way that you could get a little activity in your day and play with this button. You could also even just pass it around in a circle if you've got several people in the room and keep it in your hand and try to guess whose hand that button might be in. So today, when you're making your muffins, you might want to play with a button as well. Today, the muffins that we're going to make are a really fun recipe because they only have 2 ingredients. And like I said, July is ice cream month, so we're going to use ice cream in our muffins. That's right, ice cream and self-rising flour are the only 2 ingredients that our muffins have. And you wonder how that works? Well, if you think about ice cream is a dairy product, and dairy products come from cows, or our ice cream does anyway, that milk that we're going to make into ice cream. But that milk also has a lot of other ingredients or the ice cream has a lot of other ingredients in there. It has some eggs and some sugar, and there's fat in that ice cream. All the things that we would need to make a yummy muffin is already put together in that ice cream. So we're going to stir together 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of ice cream. And when we measure the flour, we want to use a dry measuring cup, and we're just going to spoon that flour in very gently, and then we're going to take a knife and rake it off into a bowl or on a piece of wax paper, somewhere where you can dump it back in the bag and reuse that. But we want to have a level cup full of flour, and then we're going to take the softened ice cream and put 1 cup of it, kind of let it get not melted, but soft enough that you can stir it. We're going to stir those 2 ingredients together, and we're going to heat our oven to about 375 or 400 and bake those muffins for about 18 to 20 minutes. And when you get finished, just like the moose in our story, you could even add a little jam. I hope you've enjoyed this segment of Storytime Cooks, and we'll come back and join us again next week as we continue to learn about food through books.
We love food colored green, bell peppers and long string beans, pickles, celery, cucumbers too. All these foods